Hi, and welcome back to Small Town Stories, a podcast about 5 people in Blagoevgrad, Bulgaria, who have made this small town my second home. In the last episode, you heard about the fixer guy, Dimitrov Georgiev. And in this episode, you'll hear the story of Peter Dimitrov Georgiev. People call him Pesho, but I call him the crops guy. I am your guide, Elsa Kelmendi, and this is the story of the crops guy. In the spring semester, when the weather is warmer, as I walk to class, I see this old man sitting at a round orange table outside a long building. He's flipping through the pages of a newspaper with a glass of wine by his side. He looks in his 70s. Tall man, wearing a green hat with a small hole on the side. He's wearing a plain shirt, a zipped-up navy blue fleece vest, and another cotton black jacket on top. You know, the kind you'd wear in the fall. His oily silver hair reaches just below his earlobes. He looks at me and waves hello. And the first thing I notice is his crooked smile and the tiny spaces between his teeth. He's got thick, dark gray eyebrows falling over his big green eyes. His name is Peter, but people call him Pesho, because everyone in Bulgaria has a nickname. Rarely do people in Bulgaria go by their actual name, and sometimes their nicknames sound a lot more different. Right next to where he's sitting is an old building with big windows and yellow grills on them. This building looks like it has no roof. It's where Pesho spends most of his time, selling crop seeds. The building has 2 shops inside, one on the left and another on the right. The one on the left is the one that sells crop seeds. And the one on the right, well, I haven't really been able to figure out what this one is used for. When you walk in the building, there is a space in between the 2 shops. There are 5 tall brooms pressed against the wall, small bags of fertilizers on a table, and a bunch of hoses on the floor. Pesho's shop is really old. The walls and the windows are cracked. Inside Pesho's shop, on the right, is a stand with flower seed packets. Sunflowers, daisies, poppies, calendulas, marigold, and evening primrose. There are shelves on the right filled with saws, chains, plant medicine, and attached to the shelves are 20 different types of tomato seeds. In one of the shelves is an old fax machine. A dying plant is on the top of it. It looks as if it hasn't been watered in a while. And on the ground, there's a cow milking machine. On the left side of the shop are big windows with these huge window stools. And on them, there's spraying equipment, steel buckets, watering cans, gardening hose, spades and shovels, and other stuff people use on the fields. On the other side of the shop, across from the door, is another stand with vegetable seed packets. Green, yellow, and red peppers, radish, beets, and pumpkin seeds. The crops guy has a long table in the middle of the shop with a very old cash register on it. A bunch of old newspapers, and a pair of old ripped gardening gloves. Pesho gets the crop seeds from suppliers. He has no croplands of his own. He's retired. Unlike the fixer guy, Mitko, who worked to spend the time, Pesho tells me he works to make money because the pension he receives is not enough. When he's not working, he enjoys making wine.
Имам помощно стопанство там. Лозе имам, лозе отглеждам.
I also have a vineyard, and I make really nice wine, without any chemicals, without any other things, just pure domestic wine.
If you see people in Blagoevgrad drinking wine anywhere else other than a restaurant or a club, they will have probably made it themselves. Most people here produce their own wine. The Krapsky has been making his wine since 1983. It's like a hobby for him. He makes it for himself and his family, and sometimes he sells it to his friends. I go to Pesho's shop and he offers me wine. He wants me to try it out.
Приятно ми че се запознахме. Вършиме бизнес някакво. Вие вашата работа, аз моята, да. Добре.
It has a nice smell. And it tastes good too. The Krapsky, or I should rather say the wine guy, keeps his wine in a bidon. In Bulgarian, a bidon is a big bottle of water that looks as if it can hold about 5 liters in it. When holidays come, or someone has a birthday, a name day, or a christening, people gather, and everyone brings their own wine. They drink each other's wine, and they have a sort of a private wine tasting among families. I'm drinking Pesho's wine, and my eyes go to the window where there is this poster of a girl. I ask him who she is, and he tells me it's his daughter. She was running for some sort of election when the picture was taken for the poster. He tells me sometimes when he drinks a little more than he should have, he starts talking to her. Pesho is married, and besides his daughter, he also has a son and 3 grandchildren. Pesho was born in a small village called Obel, near the border with Macedonia. He's lived in different villages around Bulgaria before he moved to Blagoevgrad in 1976. Pesho's lifelong dream was to study medicine and become a doctor. But it was communism back then when he was trying to go to university, and his father strongly opposed the regime of the time, and for that reason, Pesho was refused a degree in medicine. He then went to study agriculture and graduated from the Academy of Agricultural Development with a degree in agro and zoo engineering. He basically just worked with machines for animals. But when the 90s came, he switched to selling crops.
Няма идея, живота ме принуди. Това беше 1990 година.
It wasn't much of an idea. Life made me do it. It was the 1990s. I was doing zoo engineering.
Сигурна държавна работа, първия, който изхвърлиха.
But after the changes of that time, from a secure national job, they kicked me out on the street from my agency.
И бях принуден.
So yeah,
Живота ме принуди, да.
life made me do it.
Besides making wine and selling crop seeds, there's a lot of other things this guy enjoys doing. The crops guy is a free spirit.
Обичам да ходя много в гората, в планината.
I love to go to the forest and in the mountains. I love collecting mushrooms, forest fruits like blueberries and other kinds.
Обичам да се кача некъде на високо и да гледам.
I love to go to high places and watch the horizon. When I look at the horizon and the cliffs, it's as if I'm looking at a fantastic ocean, a sea.
Обикновено в биологичната, биологията за живота.
I love to read a lot, usually about biology, about life. I cannot devote myself to only one thing. I do a lot of things.
Аз като се кача на предела или на глазне там, като слушам реката какво прави...
I love music, folklore music, but I don't have a singing voice. And when I go on top of Glazne, when I hear the sound of the river, it's like I hear songs, like I'm singing with the river.
The Kropsky gives me the impression that he finds inspiration in the smallest and simplest of things. And frankly, so do I. This was the story of Peter Dimitrov Georgiev. On the next episode, you will hear about Vitka Orumova, the flower lady. You can listen to this podcast on SoundCloud, YouTube, tuning into ABG Spotify, Podbean, or on the official Wix website. All the links are in the description. Small Town Stories was written and produced by me, assistant produced by Jason Murphy. Our supervising editor and producer is Laura Kelly, and music was composed by Kevin MacLeod. Thank you to Pesho and voiceover actor Ilko Drenkov. And to my friend, who helped me with the interviews and translation, Slavina Filipovska. Thank you to my cousin, Donat Gashi, for the website designs. And a huge thank you goes to the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication at American University in Bulgaria. I also want to thank my mother for her everlasting and invaluable support, and for believing in me. Check out the 5th and last episode for this podcast to hear about the flower lady. Until then, take care of yourselves, and thank you for listening.